I think I like the way we're going. I really do. It looks good.
Good morning, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Good morning.
It's okay. It's just stickers.
Oh,
I've
okay.
got loads of stickers everywhere. More stickers.
I'm going to, when you get your new librarian, I'll go in towards the end of June and figure out how many books I need and what ages that
Perfect.
some are reading people. But give that person a chance to.
Yes, I will give her
Yeah.
heads up and we'll get everything sorted.
And I'm going to be gone from the 1st to the 11th.
Got it.
Jones and
Joan,
Leslie have
Joan
a-
and I talked about that, and I need to fix the Friends of the Library sign. I'm going to pull it over from, it's over at the main right now.
Oh, okay.
We figured out, we went over and took a look at it last week or the week before.
Probably the dates need to be changed.
We just, if we can get a nice stencil, we can just duct tape over the part that says the date, and then we can just stencil it in and do it that way. And then next year, rip the duct tape off and put new one, and that will be seamless. That's what we figured would be the easiest thing.
Yeah.
And then we can get that up on the balcony.
Waiting for Tara.
Yes.
I think she works at the NCS. She was a graduate school. I think she's a librarian.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
I know she does work.
So we're just waiting for Tara. She's usually here on the dot or a minute or two after, so.
And she's going to run the meeting, I trust.
Yes.
Well, once the June work out better because the new member of the board to be there, then we'd be up to full strength, right, in June?
Probably not in June. We didn't get applications in before the deadline. We had 2 late applications. So I've been talking to the mayor and the vice mayor about some ideas I have about the library board of trustees and the community activities commission. And so we're gonna just have 4 members for at least another few months while I figure out the best course of action and some ideas I have about boards and commissions in general. I've been reading this really great book about, not that we're not effective, but I had checked it, I ordered it before the pandemic, about boards and commissions in general and what their charge is and how, I don't know, I won't bore you with it now. I'll bore you with it later.
Yeah.
There's Tara. Hi, Tara. Good morning.
She's muted. Does she know that?
Yeah. So Tara, did you see the email that Phil won't be here this morning?
I did. I've got the con this morning.
You do?
I do. I will be ready momentarily. Let me just get my agenda up. Is Leslie on?
Yeah, I'm here.
I see you, Leslie. All right. Are we ready, everybody?
Yep.
All right. Can we call the meeting to order? And do roll call, please.
Don Krischer,
Here.
Susan Murphy,
Yeah.
Bill Pardue, Chair Twomey.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So let's start with the first item on the agenda, public appearances. Who's S?
That's Sebastian. He's our IT person who's recording the meeting.
All right. Well,
He may have some comments though. I shouldn't.
Sebastian, if you'd like to make public comments, now's your time. Otherwise, we will keep moving along in our agenda. Announcements from the trustees. John, any announcements?
No, not really.
All right, Susan?
We've been doing really well at the market, and we have the book sale coming up, and we will stop collecting books probably the end of the month.
And Susan, what date? What are the dates for the book sale?
7th, 8th, and 9th, is that right?
Yeah, the 7th is the Thursday, and that's the members pre-sale, and then the public sales Friday, July 8th, and then Saturday, July 9th. And I did have word from Barbara Dara that the book room will close after the 7th of June. So while you're
Right,
gone,
yeah.
And the
book room is the
location?
last day. The Carmel Youth Center.
Great.
And we have bookmarks. They're at the library and they're all over the place. So,
Very handy.
right. So if anybody wants one, Joan will be at the market on the first week in June and the second week in June, and she will have bookmarks.
Perfect. All right, I don't have any other announcements, so we will move to announcements from the library director, Ashley.
Announcements that I have, I did not agendize appointing officers for this meeting because the council has not formalized the appointments to all of the boards and commissions. They will do so at their June meeting, and that's later than they normally would. This is their first cycle with the new appointment schedule, so I can only hope that this will not be a continuing thing where they push off the appointments from the May meeting, because that's going to throw us off and our bylaw changes. So just a heads up, that's why I did not include it here, is because people aren't official. I think we know where things are headed. We're still going to be looking for a new board and commission member, and I'm talking, or a new board member. We didn't have applications in on time for this board. So I'm talking with the mayor and the mayor pro tem about what we can do going forward to fill our vacancy, and some other ideas I have about that. So stay tuned. And then I wanted to bring it up with this board that because our president is out today, potentially we consider continuing the budget item for full adoption. We can discuss, but without our president here, we've got the time, and June will be just fine to adopt the budget. So that would be my recommendation as staff, that we discuss it, and you guys can provide me with any direction you have, and then I'll bring it back in June.
I think that sounds fine. Any objection to continuing? So that would be item 5.
It would be item 5. And we have so far so good with our new library hours. Everybody seems to be very happy and has adjusted. They're far less confusing, so we're getting fewer questions about that. Just when can we add more hours in? We will have some new staff starting next week, which I'm really excited about. And we will extend hours on from there every time we start to add more people in. So I'm hoping by the end of the summer, early fall, we'll be fully staffed. We're opening up a recruitment for a librarian 2, head of reference. So you'll see that position open, and we'll be actively working on that. And I'm excited to expand hours. My big goal is to try to make Saturday hours work with the schedules that we have now and open hours that we have. So I'm working very hard on that, especially during the summertime. It would be great to have the library open on Saturdays for kids and families. And it's a frequent request from patrons at the main library as well. So
Great.
That's the direction we're headed in.
Super. Okay, so Ashley, with respect to item number 5, I guess my question is, does it make sense to have a conversation about it without Phil? Or I guess my question is, should we table the whole thing, or should we have a conversation?
We've done it both. I've seen this board do it both ways in the past, where we've kind of discussed and then brought it back for final discussion and final adoption.
Okay.
So I'll leave it up to you as a group whether or not you want to just wait for Phil, because there's no huge changes over what you saw last month, just some switches between accounts that John and I had worked on after meeting and going through the line item detail budget. So, but like I say, no major changes over last month.
So John, given that there are no major changes, it seems to me like we could just continue the entire item. I'm not sure that we need to have a discussion today. What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. I think we should all be here so we can discuss it, because Phil may have a different point that we're not looking at on a lot of items.
So just kind of procedurally, since there aren't any, since it sounds like there aren't significant changes from what we talked about last time, our conversation will be just reviewing those changes, looking at the overall budget, and then potentially approving that. It seems to me I'll just carry that whole item over.
Very good.
So, okay. So with that said, we can move on to orders of business. So receive a report from Carmel Public Library Foundation. Alex, welcome back. We missed you last time.
Thank you.
I know you were busy.
A little busy that day. Thank you, Ashley, for reporting for me. And good morning, trustees. We just, CPLF just had our recent May meeting on Monday. Lots of news to report. We approved our slate of officers. So next year, Letty Bennett will be the president. Andrew Drummond will be the vice president. Carmine Lipiani will be the treasurer. Susan Galvin, the secretary, and Penny Allen will be appointed, or has been appointed, the director at large. So we have that underway. And we have created, like I think you have too, a succession plan. So the vice president position moves into the presidency the following year. So really excited about that lineup. And then the Library Board of Trustees and Carmel Public Library Foundation are continuing to meet on a regular monthly basis. And I think those meetings have been really helpful. We meet before our board meetings. And during the last meeting, we talked about a few things, one being the master plan and just sort of the process and the dates when architects would be submitting their, I guess, what would you call it?
Their qualifications. So the city currently has out a solicitation for qualifications for a number of services throughout, including architectural services. They keep those on file for 5 years so we can call upon those professionals if and when we need them without doing a major request for proposals or so it speeds up us getting work done. And so we're waiting for that to close, which will be early next week.
That's so great. Thank you for that. And so I think we'll have some members from our team and meet with Ashley and kind of review and see where that lands with which architect. We also talked about, there were 2 projects that Ashley brought forth to be funded for this year. One was more of a technical or technology project. Another one is a communications marketing project. And we agreed to look at that consultant, that outside person together so that we could create aligned messaging and visuals, although, you know, maintaining our separate identities. We just want to make sure that we're aligned well when we outface to the community. And then, of course, the annual fundraising event happened with Dr. Parag Khanna. Very exciting. It was our most successful fundraising event in CPLF's history. We raised close to $150,000. And just really excited about our community partnerships. We engaged with Carmel High School and had about 20 students come. We had tickets underwritten for them. We had them read the book with their environmental club and TED Talks club. And they came and asked the most interesting questions, I think. And the interaction was really terrific. Robocall, sorry. And so all in all, we view this as a big success. And now we're, of course, looking for next year's speaker. On to the next. Let's see. We had also our budget approved, and we utilized preliminary numbers from the library's budget, and everything looks in line for both of our respective organizations. We received a large request from a community member, Donald High, a little over $700,000, which is pretty amazing. And that has been added to our endowment fund, which we're really excited about. Our Sterling Circle reception was going to be held in conjunction with Douglas Brinkley's launch of his new book, but that will not happen until next February because his book won't be launched until late fall. So we will be hosting our Sterling Circle reception at the Cypress Inn June 12th. You're all invited. And it's from 3 to 4:30. And we'll have valet parking. It'll just be a really nice reception and a way to acknowledge everyone who's including the library in their estate. In terms of capital projects, the connectivity project in front of the library is ongoing. There have been some delay, mostly due to identifying a consultant and then working with them within their scheduling. So we're still on top of this. It's just we have to rely on other entities to perform. And then we have 3 new board members that we approved also at this meeting: Sarah McCary, Diane Danvers Simmons, and Bob Kramer. You may know some of them. Diane's an author and also a volunteer. Sarah McCary is relocating, but her parents were very active with the foundation, Mary and Tom McCary. And then Bob Kramer, you may or may not know, he is very active with the Small Development Business Agency and his consulting businesses. He's a really great strategist. Lastly, programs. As mentioned, we had to postpone Douglas Brinkley's to February, but we're working on a calendar of programs, another eclectic array, also partnering with Carmel Unified School District, and just really excited about next year. That's it. Any questions?
That's all she's got.
That's all I've got. That's it.
An impressive array as usual. Any questions or comments from the trustees? John?
My only question is on the outside in the garden. We're still working on getting architects together to make that work, to make a design, working with the garden club. How's that coming? I'm just curious.
That's, yeah, as mentioned, we are sort of at the, we're at the point where we have met with 2 who are really good contenders, but it's just, their schedules right now, because of the COVID emergence, their books have really filled up. And so we have to be a little patient.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we have the right one, the one
right,
that
I understand that.
is qualified. And so we're just being a little patient. I might reach back out, Ashley, to Lynn Carmichael for another name, just to see if we can move that any faster. But it's ongoing, and definitely working with the external stakeholders on that and keeping everybody informed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course.
Thanks, Sean. Susan, any questions for?
No, I go to the meetings, so I don't have any questions.
Excellent. All right. Well, Alex, thank you to both you and the Carmel Public Library Foundation. Marvelous job as always. All right. Item number 2 on our agenda: approval of the minutes for April 27th, 2022 regular meeting. These are included in your packet. Anybody have any questions, changes, comments? Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I so move.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call vote?
John Krischer.
Yes.
Susan Murphy.
Yes.
Sarah Twomey.
Yes.
Approved. Thank you.
Excellent. Moving on to item number 3, receive the librarian's report for April 2022. Ashley, turning it over to you.
This one I will continue to next week. It was one of those ones we were hoping to have for this meeting, but we were waiting on some last minute numbers from our vendors, and the changeover in the new fiscal year always makes things a little wonky. So we'll have the April librarian's report for you at the end of June, along with the budget.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So we may have a short meeting today. Let's do, so number 3 will be carried over to next meeting. Number 4, receive the treasurer's report and approve the check register for April 2022. John, turning it over to you.
Okay, we're doing really great. As you can see, the report, we're well under budget. A few things like library operations were a little over, and that is we're paying the audit. What we have budgeted for the operations and what actually is always a little bit different. So the audit is what made that go over. And down on technical services, electronic material. The one is, that is the shipping. Leslie told me the shipping and taxes we're paying on our hard copy books and things we have delivered to the library. And that went a little bit over what we had figured to budget it on. And that's the only thing on that was that's going to even out. Just this one time was a lot more expense for shipping and taxes on those. Other than that, we're just really, really doing fantastic. The other things that are over right now will all even out because they're all annual. We pay once a year and then we budget the whole year, which up to the end of the year, you're always over budget. But at the end of the year, it all works out and we're perfect. And things like the programs, we're so far down on that. We're not spending any money on that. So next year, that'll probably all change. As the check register, everything is really good on that. The only any questions I had on that, Leslie always explains to me on that. And a lot of them I go down to the library and sign, so I can pretty much see what they're for. Any other questions? I'm
Great.
ready to answer.
Let me start with Susan. Susan, do you have any questions for John?
No, he does a great job.
He does do a great job. I do have two quick questions. So on the audit, what is our agreement with the city on that? I just don't recall.
Our agreement with the city is that we pay the library's portion of the audit, which is in past years been quoted at me as $4,000, which we paid. And that's what I budgeted for this fiscal year. However, they sent us an invoice for $1,000. And this was before and I thought, well, we're doing so great and we're so easy to audit. They dropped their price. Good on us. That wasn't the case. So we did the budget adjustment and they came back and I was like, hey, Sheldon, would you come do an audit report for us in June or July? And, thanks for lowering the price. And they're like, no, we're going to invoice you for the rest of it. So there was some confusion there with the way they were doing their invoicing. And so we did get the remainder invoice for $3,000 so that you'll see that in there as us paying actually the city of Carmel. I think that went through last month. And that's what that was for, was specifically to finish paying for the audit. So I apologize for the confusion there. And he did confirm that that would be the same price for the audit as part of the city's audit for next fiscal year as well.
That was going to be my next question is that,
Yep.
Are we just assuming that's going to be a little bit higher?
Yes.
And that's natural and not a big deal, but I just want to make sure that
Yes.
we've accounted for that. And then on our computers, the equipment charge. So is that for the laptops?
Yes, that's for the laptops.
Okay. And have those been received?
Yes, you're talking to me via one of the laptops at this moment in time. Yes. So
Yay, how is that going?
It's going great. They're wonderful. They work well. We've been able to, I've got a great system where we can now use them as docking stations. So I can unplug this. I've got 3 screens going, a laptop screen, a horizontal screen, and a vertical screen. And it's been terrific for budgeting with all of the spreadsheets and things. And so staff will also have these options and we'll continue the mobility that we've had during the pandemic where we can grab our laptops, sit down together and do a brainstorming session and be working on stuff, collaborating in real time. So I'm really pleased with it. And IT has been great. And we've got other projects we're working with them on. Other things everything's just taking longer than normal, like everything everywhere. So we're being patient.
I just saw that the computers came in and I know that was something that, that we were, it doesn't say the laptops. And so I'm assuming those were the laptops.
That was the laptops, yes.
That's all working out really well as you had expected. And,
yes.
And that's great.
Yes.
So I don't have any particular questions for John. So I guess what I will do is I will actually make the motion to approve the financials and the check register for April. And if I could get a second, that would be great.
I second it.
Susan seconds. Can we get a vote?
John Krischer,
Yes.
Susan Murphy,
Yes.
Sarah Twomey.
Yes.
Approved. Thank you.
Great. All right. That brings us to item number 5, which we will also carry over to the next meeting. So I will just ask if anybody has any future agenda items. John?
Not right now.
That's fine. Susan, any future
No.
agenda items? All right. I don't have any either. So I guess this means we have a pretty short meeting today. So with nothing else on the agenda, we can adjourn. Thank you everybody for coming this morning. And we'll see you
you all.
next month.
Very good.
Bye.
Thanks, John. Bye, Tara.
Bye.
Good. That was easy, quick.